Pick up and action.
The one who makes me glad.
My name is Aghworo, the Cupid. They call me Magic. You understand? My Nollywood fans, they call me Magic. I have been in the industry for over 2 decades now. I am a Nollywood producer. I'm a screenwriter. I'm an art director. I'm a costume designer. I'm a props and set designer also. Understand? But I major more on the art department. You get the point? So that's what I do. I have been able to travel around the country. I've traveled like 30 states out of 36 states in Nigeria for filmmaking. I've worked with couples of directors. I've worked with some producers, both in Lagos, in the east, and in the west. You understand? So, and for this number of years, I've been able to gather some experiences. I've done movies that are on Netflix. I've done movies that have gone nominations and won awards on the African Magic Viewers Choice Award. I've also done movies that win both international and local awards. You understand? And one thing you need to know, the art department is a very essential department when it comes to filmmaking production. You understand? Then, first of all, what's art department? You understand? Art department is the entire artistic department of the movie production. And as an art director, which I am, my responsibility is to oversee every artistic department of the job, which includes the makeup department, which includes the props, which is the property department, the set design department, the costume design department. So where we have the props manager, we have the set designer, we have the props designer, we have the costume designer, we have the wardrobe manager, we have the special effect makeup artist, we have the makeup artist itself, we have the facial makeup artist, we have the set constructor, and so many of them, you understand. But the fact is, the art department is one of the most crucial parts of the whole job. When I get to location, first, if a producer call me for a job, the first thing I do, I go through the script, I read the script, I understand it, I read again to do my proper breakdown of what the script entails, you understand? So I know what to do, that scene by scene, know if it's exterior, know if it is interior, know the time of the day that particular scene should be shot. Then from there, I can come out with my color palette, know what's up, you understand? Then know who are supposed to be on the scene. So after all those breakdown, then fine, I can actually negotiate with my producer or my executive producer on what feel I can take in order for me to deliver that particular script in the best way it should be. So if it is a script that need me to do a proper research, probably it's a script that has nothing to do with our everyday life. Maybe it's a story that is backdated into the 80s or the 70s or the 90s when we were not born. So I have to do my proper research to know how our people live then, you understand? It can be a traditional story, it can be a story of a particular village, it can be a story of a particular tradition, you understand? I can even make an example of the kind of story I'm talking about, like the Benin invasion of 1875 or so. So those kind of story, you have to make proper research on how the people dress then, on how they eat, on how they behave, what they eat, and some other things, you understand? So if it's a story that warrants me doing that, I have to do my proper research before any form of negotiation. Then there are other stories that are fiction, you understand? They are story, sometimes we call them abstracts, you understand? These stories are not based on any tradition. These stories are not stories that are true life story, you understand? So that kind of story, in delivering that kind of story, I have to create things on my own. I have to create things from my head, you understand? I have to think of how the set should be. I have to think of how the costume should be created, and we will agree together that this is what should come in and this is what should not come in. So that's how it is done. Then sometimes there are some sets I want to build. I can be there, fine, they will show me the location that this is December, probably I want to do a shrine in a movie. It's not like I have a sketch of a particular design of a shrine, but I will always have an idea of what should be in the shrine. So first thing first, when I get to the location, as I build, the way I build, more inspiration comes in. I keep on adding things, you understand? I keep on adding stuff that this should be here, this should be here. Because as I build, I have to put my, what's it called, my the cinematographer into consideration, because there must be a camera angle. So I can't just build an enclosed set that the crew, the technical crew cannot stand in. So I have to put the technical crew into consideration while arranging my set, while building my set. And I also have to put my kind of costume that I want to use in arranging my set, because I do not need to build a set that have to do with color, too much of color blockings. You understand? So my background set should be able to rhyme with the kind of costumes that the costumier will give to the actors while they are acting on set. So that is that. Then for maybe for glamour, fine, it's an everyday thing. So some of these things are things we see every day. So it is easier to actually achieve a glamour movie than to achieve an epic movie, because the epic movie, sometimes the stories might not be stories that we are familiar with, or probably the tradition are not traditions I'm familiar with. So I have to, on my own, go do my research, ask questions, know how they dress, know how they do things. Some can actually be online, some might not be online. So I have to have one-on-one communication with persons who have the original story of those people, or probably persons who live in that region, you understand? So I can actually do what is right and the best way to interpret the story. So in a long run, I love the art department. I love my job. I love the set design, because one, it actually gives me more inspiration. It actually gives me more mind for more creativity. It actually gives me joy, you understand, having to do things which we people have not seen before, and everybody gets to commend you, and everybody gets to appreciate you that this work is nice, this is fine, you understand, constructing things that they are not familiar with, you understand, because some of these movies that the stories are backdated to like the 80s and the 70s, most of us were not born, even the producers were not born then, but then when they see that you are able to deliver a story that is close to what was happening then, so it's a huge work, and it's lots of creative ideas, you understand? So if you don't have the creativity in you, you can't do it. A popular musician once said, like I'm talking about Aghworo, he said that for you to be creative, you say you have to be native for you to be creative, you understand? So many persons do not understand that statement. For you have to be native for you to be creative, which means you have to put yourself in that position in order for you to achieve that which you want to achieve. Like they can say, okay, fine, you should do a set of a shrine, or maybe probably a coven set, or maybe a witchcraft set. You have to put yourself in that position. You have to feel like you are one of them. You have to go deep into that realm for you to be able to do something that is close to what is actually what they are actually doing, you understand? So you have to put yourself in that position, say, okay, fine, let me imagine that this is a shrine, or let me imagine that this is a coven. So what should be there, what should be there, how do witches behave, how do they react? So if you don't put yourself in that position, you cannot actually achieve that which they do, or how they behave, or how their set actually look like. So set design is not that easy. At the same time, it's that easy. It is God's gift, you understand? Because it's not something you can learn in a day, because the more you learn, the more other things come into play. The more you learn this, the more other things come into play. The more advanced it becomes. And movie these days is becoming more advanced than we think. You get the point now. So if in the course of doing movie, at the end of the day, you don't add creativity to it, then you have a problem, you understand? One of my greatest challenges in filmmaking is, one is our environment. Our environment is one of the greatest challenge. One, the Nollywood settings, we do not actually have already established location, just like the Hollywood, you understand? We don't have already established location. So everything we do, we have to build from the scratch. You understand? Even environmental hazard, we have it. Unlike the Hollywood set, now they can actually shoot in a studio, in a warehouse where it's well built. Even if there is rain or sun, they can cut down on some stuff and the rest. But It's difficult here in Nollywood because one, the budgets also affect what we do. The budget of our movie also affect what we do. We don't actually have huge budget to do bigger films. You understand? So something that should be achieved on a normal, that will be achieved properly for a movie, maybe within the next 3 months. We here in Hollywood will try and compress it and get it done in 2 weeks. You understand? So that also tells on the actors and the crew, because you have to stretch yourself. You have to stretch yourself to make sure that you work extra harder in order to achieve it within that short period of time. You understand? So one of our challenges is finance. One of our challenges is not being able to have a good, already established locations when it comes to filmmaking. And another challenge we have, our government is not fully involved when it comes to the film business. You understand? So for the Hollywood, fine, the government is involved. They have good regulatory processes that they take when it comes to their filmmaking process. But our own, we have independent producers everywhere. They do their thing the way they want to do their thing. They use their crew that they want to use. You understand? So, and another challenge we have is let's say, okay, we really do not have good equipment. And not that they are not good equipment, they are good equipment, but the availability of the equipment is very, very scarce. And for you to have a better equipment, it involves huge amount of money. So that also boils down to the financial aspect of the production. You understand? It boils down to the financial aspect of the production. Then where climate challenge also is there. You can build a set that you would not want rain to or water to disturb you. At the end of the day, after building the set, rain will come. You understand? Just like this set that I'm doing right now, it's a makeshift set. You can see that I first of all use my wrapper, and I use the mud on it. At the end of the day, because I did it a day before the shoot, so if after finishing the set and the rain decides to fall on that day night, if we come in the morning to shoot, we will discover that everything is gone. That's back to one. So I have to redesign and reconstruct. You understand? So the rain is one of our challenges in order for us to achieve a good movie. So our weather and our climate is also an issue for us when it comes to filmmaking. But then with extra creativity, with determination and the passion, we are actually stretching ourselves to a particular extent on getting the thing done and done in the right way. Understand? So, but I just hope that someday, somehow, in Nollywood, everything will be put into one chair, and we'll make sure that we do everything in the right way, and that will be well appreciated and accepted by the whole world. You understand? So that is it. Okay, talking about winning awards, I really have win a couple of awards and also gotten some nominations. That's on AMVC. I got nomination on international film festivals, and I've also won some local awards here in that's within Delta State, within Nigeria. You understand? So it's not easy, because one thing I know is that the movie that won the award does not mean that that is the best movie for the year. One thing we also have to know, this goes to our producers, because one, if you do not submit your movie will not go for screening, your movie will not be picked. You understand? So it were the movies that were submitted, those are the movies that were screened and given award. There are some persons who have made good movies, probably the movies is not scaled through, or the movies is not get the award because they refuse to submit it for the award. You understand? So if you do a good movie, you submit it, so probably your movie will compete with other good movies, and you might have chances of getting an award. So I can actually count myself as one of the persons who have done good movies as an acting director that were not submitted for nominations or for screening for some of these awards. I've done a movie that won award in Toronto Film Festival. That's what was it called? It's titled Survivors. Survivors won Best Director and Best Actor in Comedy. That's Best Director Coyote Peters, and Best Actor in Comedy. That's MC Macroni. That's 2024 Toronto Film Festival, Canada, 2024. And that same film also won Best Actor in Comedy, AMVCA 2023. Yes, 2023 here in Africa. So you understand. So I was the scriptwriter of that film, though I'm not the art director. So I was the screenwriter and I was the storyteller of that movie too. So some of these movies have actually gone far and wide. The movie got couples of nominations, but we were able to scramble 1 or 2 awards from it. So, okay, generally, Nollywood here in Nigeria or this part of the country, like Delta State, it has been tough. It has not been easy, but I would say that the producers are actually trying. The producers are actually trying to make sure that they get out there and do something great and do something good. Africans have lots of stories that we've not even touched, stories that we've not even tell. We have so many untold stories in Africa. We have so many ethnic groups in Africa. You understand? Some of these stories that have been produced and have been touched in Africa, or let's say in Nigeria, fine, we've done more of the Igbo stories. The Yorubas are also coming out strong and bigger, you understand? The Hausas are also there. Then now the Benis are also coming out. So, like the Robos now, their stories have not been touched at all. The Robos, their stories have not been touched. The Isokos, their stories have not been touched. Even the Calabas, their stories have not been touched. You understand? Even the what's it called, the Middle Bed, the Efik. I'm talking about the North Central. Their stories have not been touched. You understand? The Igbos have really done a lot. The Yorubas have also done a lot, not on the regular screen, but on a big screen. You understand? I'm talking about the likes of Jagu Jagu. I'm talking about the likes of Lisha B. I'm talking about the likes of Seven Doors. I'm talking about the likes of Woman King, stuff like that. So we have a whole lot of them which are on bigger screen. You understand? So, but the Igbos, they are still on bigger screen. They are on smaller screen. They are everywhere. You understand? They invested more in the industry. They invested more in the movie. So they told their story a lot. They keep on telling their story every day. You understand? So in this part of the country, they are actually trying. They are trying their best to make sure that things are done right and in the right way. So, but my prayer is that someday we are going to do it right and do it the right way. And one other challenge that we have when it comes to the filmmaking is going to the actual location to shoot the actual scene. An Hollywood man, or during a Hollywood film, they would never go to a sea or a river to shoot. They will build a set where we have water. Probably they will use their CGI and expand the water and expand the water space and expand the water body. But over here in Nigeria, we have to go as far as going into the original river to shoot. You understand? That's because of the limitations we have when it comes to equipment, when it comes to tools that we need to use in shooting or achieving that kind of project. You understand? So we have to go to the original equipment. Even if we want to shoot with a plane, in Nigeria we have to pay in order for us to get access to a plane and shoot. Even we have to pay in order for us to get access to original ammunitions like weapons to shoot. But I think Hollywood, they have fake weapons that look exactly like the original ones. You understand? So, but then with all this we are doing, I think the Nollywood industry is still coming out strong and fine. You understand? So all we needed is just having a good investor, have people who are willing to put in cash, put in money, and everything will be done in the right way. So my name is Aghworo the QP. They call me Magic Man, a name that was given to me by Nikki Kerezov, that's cinematographer of the movie Up Creek, shot in Bayelsa State, 2008.